Hey traders, it's John Howell here. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about what I see in the stock market right now and what is happening right now in the markets itself. So let's get straight into it, guys. Do not place trade based on what you're seeing in this video. Trading is risky. It can cause a lot of loss, and you got to know what you're doing. You got to know the exact setup, plan, motions, consistency, patience, and discipline. Obviously, all goes into trading. Okay, so let's go into having a quick look at what's happening with the Dow Jones right now. Firstly, what do we see here with the Dow Jones? All right, we have 1-2 down bars on the Dow Jones. Now, I want you guys to realize, if we look at this weekly chart, what is this weekly chart still saying right now? It is still saying what? We're still getting very, very, very big higher lows, aren't we? Very big higher lows. And if I get some trend lines to draw here somewhere, then I'd have to say that there is probably something going on through here somewhere. So I'd have to say there's something going on through there. Anyway, what I'm looking at here is we're getting a low and we're getting a higher low, and the market's running up. Even when the market had this big retracement during the year, right? What does the market continue to do? Higher lows and higher lows all the way up. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So this just could be another higher low. All right, so that's the first thing in the markets. Is this the top right now? No one knows exactly if it's going to be a top right now, but what would we want to see on the daily chart to say, okay, now this is the top? Firstly, I believe we're likely to start getting a bit of a rally out of this now. We've had 1-2 down bars in the markets through here, lots of volatility, which is fantastic. I love volatility, especially trading the Forex markets and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, so markets drop down through here. Now, there's two things that's going to happen with this market here. Let me bring up, say, the 6-month view. All right, so there's two things that's going to happen with this market right now that I believe. All right, okay, scenario number one is that we hold. Okay, scenario number one is that we hold and we get a big rally up and out of this thing here. All right, if that happens, we're moving on to the upside. But if this is the topping action, if this is going to be some sort of a top, we will start to see this market doing this, right? Where the market's rally, it'll go sideways for a while, and then we'll start to get a bit of a drop down. And this is where you'll start to cause some sort of where the market's starting to top out overall in the markets, breaking below previous lows and so on and so forth. So it's really going to be really interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks of this market, depending on how the volatility works and stuff like that. The market's not just going to keep going straight down like that. It's just not going to happen like that. The market will give us a bit of a topping action first, and if this was a precursor to what is to come, it'll give us this topping action. I'll give you an example of what I mean by that. If we have a look at, say, the Australian market, okay, the Australian market's been quite weak for quite some time. I trade the this is the where'd that go? Behind the scenes. Right, there it is there. Cool. So this is the one that I actually trade, which is the ASX Australian 200 cash, or the futures market. And as you can see on this futures market, right, what do we have here? If I bring this chart up over here for a minute, what do we have here first? We had this big sell-off period, didn't we? So if we have a look here, if I bring this over here, look at this here, right? So we actually had this big sell-off, right? We actually had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down days here. Then notice how we then started to go sideways for a few weeks, right? Bit of volatility. So it's a bit of volatility, and we see all these small little bars. We're getting a big drop down, all these small little bars, going sideways, not much happening, and then bam, there's a breakdown bar. What's that breakdown bar? The breakdown bar is now closing well below this level through here. So let's go, right? So the breakdown bar is closing well below this level through here, and it's closing well below there. So we got this big, strong selling movement, weak movement, and another big, strong selling movement, right? Very nice, what you call like just a rounding top, right? Very nice, smooth. It's like down, building up, and then bam. Right, and so you get some. This is sort of what I would want to see on the market to tell us, okay, we're getting ready for the downside. And if we got something very similar like to the Australian market, well then guess what? Next day, and the next day did that. Bam, 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 all the way down. Right, so And then we can see what's going on, and then we can see what's going on today, can't we? You can see it's actually came down all the way through there. It's actually creating like a reversal. So I'm expecting the same sort of thing happening with the Australian market. But the Australian market, what? The Australian market is actually a lot worse. So if the market's going to start topping out, then that's what you will start to see, right? You'll start to see that sort of action. You'll start to see this sort of action happening, and then the downward move. If you go back and look at all the movements in history, if you go back and look at all the movements, meaning all the big crashes in history, it's all started with something like this here. It's either broken a low, the lower high, and then breaking down, or then it's broken past previous lows, or something like that. But this is sort of the similar pattern. This is the sort of pattern that you'll get on the actual markets there. So once again, going back to the Dow Jones chart right now, even the S&P chart. Same for the S&P chart as well too, right? Like we got some nice down bars through here, but to me, the market will start to tell us, right? We'll start to get this rounding top here for a bit, maybe for a few weeks, who knows, or sideways period, or a bit of a nice pullback, and then suddenly what will happen is, right? Then suddenly the market will get a nice big crack down, and then suddenly the market will say, oh, this came out of nowhere. Okay, so no one can pick the exact top in the markets. No, it's just not likely to happen. But you can let the market tell you whether it's likely to start topping out. And this is something here, if we start to get this, meaning exactly like we got on the Australian market, where we're getting that rounding top first, meaning we get this rounding top here. So a rounding top, or just sideways movement, and then a strong breakdown breaking past previous lows. Then yes, from here, this is telling us we're likely to see a big, strong move down. So that's what I'll be looking for, exactly like on the Australian market. Look for those highs and lows first. Don't be trying to get into the market right now because you think it's a good idea, because you think the market's going to keep crashing. That is just not the right thing to do. Yes, we may get a little bit more of a down move, but what's likely to happen, the odds is we're likely to get now a bit of a pullback, and depends on what happens here. Do we get a pullback like this and then top over? Then it may be the top in the market. So let me know what you guys think.